So we're with the Students for Justice in Palestine, and we are here on October 9th because this marks a year since the beginning. Well, the genocide has been going on for 75 years, but since the most, like,
Recent, I guess, more mainstream move of action by either state. I
yeah.
guess October 7th last year was really when people in our generation started noticing and caring about Palestine too.
So we are here to, in solidarity for those that have died. We are going to be doing a martyr walk. So the University of Arkansas has a graduation walk, which is about 150,000 names of alumni, and that is approximately equal to the number of people who have been killed or injured in Gaza over the past year. So we are going to walk the number of names of the martyrs that have died over the past year in honor.
If you could have a policy change with the United States government toward the government of Israel, what would that be?
I would say stopping the funding of Israel, definitely.
Arms embargo.
Yeah,
Just
using taxes
like,
in order
yeah.
to fund weapon
No.
selling, actual transportation of the weapons that we give to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
there are a lot of
using, because
things.
there are so many things domestically at home that they say that there's not enough money to like implement or fix, but they're sending billions of dollars to,
Fund their healthcare
fund
system
the healthcare system
and give them
yeah.
subsidized housing,
Yeah.
but we don't have any of those things
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
How would y'all like to see this war end?
That
That's a tough question.
that is a tough question.
I mean, obviously, like, because it's you. In my opinion, I think on both sides, like, there are innocent people that are involved. I think that they need to stop, genociding people in Gaza, people in Lebanon. They need to release hostages on both sides, and they need to, be held accountable for like the years of what complicity in, like, none of the international systems have been holding them accountable. They've broken multiple treaties, multiple statutes, international laws. Like, I want to see accountability, and like the Palestinians given back the land that is rightfully theirs, and that both sides could eventually coexist under one state, but that state be Palestine.
What do you think is the largest obstacle for this proposition?
There are a lot, but I would say one of the biggest ones would be lobbying. Even legislators and politicians in general that do have some sort of support for Palestine can't really show it because a lot of their campaigning funds or just funds in general to sway are given to sway their vote on what they would actually amount for the freedom of Palestine. So they're so easily sold off because in order to fight for other issues, they have to give up this one, which just so happens to affect millions of people.
And I feel like there's just this big narrative that Israel's created, like a victim complex. It's like, we need this superpower, which is the US, to be able to stay safe, and that anything that you say is going to be anti-Semitic. But like, there has to be that distinction between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism. They're not the same thing.
Yeah.
And they've kind of skewed that in a way where you literally say anything, you're considered anti-Semitic. So it's this whole narrative behind it that makes people afraid to speak out and to kind of, like you were addressing with the question, to address this issue and move forward in finding solutions.
One last question. So imagine I was a pro-Israeli person with that point of view. How would you start the conversation to try to get through one of your points about what's happening in Gaza?
Honestly, I think that there are so many things that we can all find in common between each other, and topics like this are really polarizing for people, but what you can start with is just people died, and that can be on your side or on all of our sides. It's not just about Palestine, it's about people in Lebanon too. It's about people in neighboring countries that have also died and been caught in the crossfire of this problem. And you can just start that you might believe that the end goal should be a Palestine and an Israel, or only in Israel. But what you first need to admit is that there needs to be a ceasefire, and that there needs to be a permanent ceasefire at that, and that we don't support, as empathetic people, the selling of arms to fund something like this. It doesn't really matter if you think that you're right in this instance. What matters is if you care that these people are dying.
I would also, because the whole creation of Israel was off of this idea that they needed a safe place after the Holocaust, and that the whole world hated Jews. I would bring back the Holocaust. I'd be like, well, you're this happened to you. Like, millions of people died, and you said history shouldn't repeat itself. Well, it is repeating itself, and by you allowing it to happen, you are being hypocritical. And I feel like you can't argue with that fact, because then you're going against your own narrative.
Yeah.
So I think you have to kind of bring in those contradictions, because then they can't really argue with you.
Yeah. It's just that there are so many points where they come from a place of like land insecurity and just general injustice to Jewish people, that it is so very understandable that they feel like being attacked. But what we need people to understand, what we want people to understand, is we're not here to attack them. We're not here to attack Jewish people. We're not here to attack Israelis. We're not here to attack, but we're here to help you understand that these people are being hurt. And it might not be because of these citizens, but it is because of the military that they are funding. And we're funding.
Absolutely. Thank y'all very much.